That's it right there. The bu 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 bu. And it every once in a while it sounded like I could hear a click.
It looked like somebody was bent over and had their head in the window of the deer blind. It either heard me or smelt me, and he pulled his head out of the tent and stood straight up, and that shocked me. They don't make people that big.
The way it moved, almost as if it was gliding across the beach. I've never seen anything move like that in my life. They were screaming at each other in gibberish. It sounded like a language, and they were chuntering away back and forwards, back and forwards, back and forwards. I know what a bear looks like, and there is no way on this planet that what I saw were bears.
What are you reporting?
Jesus Christ, you better...
Sir?
Gia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh.
Hi, this is Carol King from Music City, and you're listening to Sasquatch Chronicles.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. Got a great show planned for you. 38 years ago, Alan was in Colorado, and he was hunting with his dad and a hunting party. And Alan had just walked through this one area and stopped and kind of looked back, and one of these creatures was standing there looking at him. And it really changed his life. That moment in time really changed his life. And I know since then, Alan lives out in California now, and he hunts an area on the border of California and Nevada. And they've had a lot of weird things happen out there. If you've had an encounter and you'd like to be on the show, shoot me an email. My email address is wes@sasquatchchronicles.com. Let's jump into it tonight. I want to welcome Alan to the show. Alan, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being here. What I'd like to do is start with this encounter many years ago, back in the early 80s. If you would kind of tell us what you were doing and walk us into what happened.
So we're hunting out of Montrose, Colorado, Montrose, however they want to call it. I believe it was 83 or 84. And we're on a semi-guided elk deer hunt. We ended up going to a place where the guide thought he could find us some elk, and we're about 12,000, 13,000 foot elevation. And what had happened was he overbooked the hunt. There was all kinds of us, so we decided to do a big drive. And if you're a hunter, you know how effective they are with 4 or 5 guys. Well, we did it with like 18 total. Well, we started making this drive, and my dad's buddy was to the left of me, and my dad was to my right. He didn't want me on the outside because the outside guy has to lead a little to cup the deer or elk and push him, make a funnel kind of effect. Well, we're walking along and we're going through this stuff. It's 6-10 foot tall, but not real thick. You could pick your way through it pretty easy. There was times you could have 100-yard shots through lanes. And I heard a bunch of rustling in front of me, and then all of a sudden I got down on a knee and I see all these legs and the bottom of bellies running back through deer. So I thought, man, they just split me and my dad. But I wasn't going to break off on the drive. So I finish the drive, get to the end, tell my dad, hey, I'm going to double back and go see if I can't find those deer. So I take off, I go back through and I get on their tracks and I follow them, and then I kind of lose them. And I'm thinking, I got to get back to the trucks. We got to go back to town. So I bust off the knoll that I was walking on, and I get down to the bottom to a road, and I'm not lost. I'm pretty good in the woods, but I'm kind of doubting myself. So I see another road take off the right. I go, oh, that's the one I need to be on. And right then something tells me, look over your shoulder. So I turn, I look, and I see this thing standing on top of the knoll that I just came off of. And I can see it from the chest up, and it's coal black, like almost shiny black. And it's just looking at me. So this went on for 3-4 seconds. In my head, I'm going, I know that's not a bear. I just walked through there. I just know it's not a bear. There's no bear that tall. So I'm quartered to my left. I'm a right-hand shooter. So I'm going to swing around to my right, throw my gun up, and look at this thing. Well, I've always been taught you never take your eye off as you're throwing your gun up, and your scope will come dead on. So I'm watching this thing, and as I'm turning and raising my gun, this thing's looking at me. It looks left. It looks right back at me. It looks left again, and then just walks off and disappeared. Well, I could tell it took 3 steps, but the head didn't really move. I don't know if that makes any sense. It just looked fluent. But I could tell it took 3 steps, and it was gone. And it covered a pretty good area in 3 steps. So I'm thinking, man, I just got to get back to the trucks. My hair's all standing up on my arms. And it's not like I was afraid, but something told me I shouldn't be there. So anyways, I double timed it to get back to the truck to get to town. And, I get back to where my dad is, and he's like, what'd you see? I said, oh, nothing. I couldn't find here. And that was basically the end of it.
Yeah, a little scarier when it comes right from the area you just were. Can I ask you, how far away was the creature, and was there any details that kind of stand out to you or that you remember?
It was more like an outline, but I could see detail, but not, specific details, because it was about 200 yards out, 175, 200, somewhere in there. I could see jaw structure, the forehead. What was weird was just how shiny the thing was. It was almost like it was manicured, and the hair wasn't very long. It was, from that distance, I'd say 2-3 inches, but it was like it'd been combed. It was real neat. It wasn't dirty or matted like you hear on your show a lot. But the shoulders on this thing were something else. I got to see 2 views. It was dead square looking at me, and even at that distance, you could tell it was big. I mean, it was big. I'm no little guy, and I was tiny compared to that thing.
What do you make of that situation? I know that you don't know and I don't know, but it makes me wonder if you woke it up as you were kind of going through there, or because, the behavior, when I hear the encounter, it's almost like 2 hunters in the same area, where you kind of come out and look at each other like, what the hell are you doing over here? But I'm curious, what is your impression of that whole situation?
That's where it ended up, was like, 2 hunters looking at each other. But as far as it doubling back with me, or maybe it just stumbled up on the hill coincidentally, I don't know. But then listening to some of your podcasts, it's like